And welcome to the second Power Hour of the Headline. I am your host, Larry H. Gardner, and the A stands for I wish it was hot because it's too cold. It's like 15 degrees in the city of Cleveland. Snowstorms. Please be careful driving in this stuff. I know it's a little bit over the top of the hour, and the thing about it is like I am so glad that we are here with our second guest of the evening. Shout out to everybody that listened to Eric, me, and Mr. Eric Sonnenberg, running for re-election for Ohio State Representative in the Democratic Party, district number 21. So we also have Cuyahoga County races. I talked about the ICE raids and how another person got murdered. By the way, breaking news, Buffalo Bills have promoted their offensive coordinator to head coach this past week. And of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers also hired Mike McCarthy, former Dallas and Green Bay coach. So to the Steelers fans, good luck with that. Y'all ain't got no coach yet. But, wait a minute. If I didn't mention, shout out to Shedeur Sanders for making it to his first Pro Bowl as a Pro Bowl alternate in his rookie season. So for those that are saying, well, Shedeur, he only did. Like, listen, a lot of guys didn't want to show up. There was people that were hurt. Quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Shedeur was selected as an alternate. First time Pro Bowl selection for a rookie quarterback. There's only been two quarterbacks selected for Pro Bowls by the Cleveland Browns in the 2000s. Derek Anderson and Shedeur Sanders when the Browns came back. Mix Lexus, how you doing today? Alexis is here helping me out right about now. So how you doing?
Well, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. It's freezing outside.
I understand.
And no, I shoveled because look, I was so busy trying to make sure I didn't run out of groceries. I forgot to get a shovel, so I shoveled my driveway today. I waited a couple of days for it to melt a little, but I shoveled my driveway with an industrial sweeping pan. You know the pan that you use to sweep the dust. I use it's one of them big thick ones that they use when they doing clean out.
Why are you shoveling your driveway?
Because
you ain't got no dude to shovel the driveway.
He went back to PA. He's gone. The stove dude is gone.
See, that sucks. Why did the stove dude went back to PA before?
Yeah, he made sure he got some appliances before he left, but he gone now.
He looked out for his boo. He looked
out for. Let
me get out of here before it get cold. Heard it get cold up in Cleveland.
That's funny. That's funny. That's very funny right about now. Like, before it get cold, he went back to PA. Well, he at least got the stove to keep y'all warm and stuff, and y'all can cook. Y'all stuff ain't shut down like mine. But the thing about it is, save that for another day. I ain't got no problem with that. All right. Speaking of the second part of that, I promised you two candidates. One is running for re-election. This one is running for her first seat in office for Cuyahoga County.
Let's talk about everybody.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Talk about everybody. It's funny that she's been an activist, but now she's in the seat trying to run to be at the table. So let's go ahead and introduce the T-Rex. Ooh, yeah. And she's been on the show before, so she want to have the power right about now. Yes, indeed.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, and the reason why I'm playing the power by snap is because she's been snapping on everybody, but she wants the power. Please welcome my friend and yours returning, and now she's up for the seat for Cuyahoga County Council, seat 11 in the building, Miss Ebony Spano.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
Hey.
What up, girl? How are you, Miss Lady?
I'm well. How are you guys today? This evening, this cold evening.
Right. Shout out, first of all. Shout out for you bringing Mr. Sonnenberg over. Shout out to that. Thank you very much. We're going to bring him back. But we always brought you back, but we brought you back in a different capacity. First of all, you are running for. Why are you running for Cuyahoga County Council? And why is this the right move for District 11?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You've never treated me this way before. Okay.
You're a candidate now.
I'm a
Hey,
candidate
that's
now.
why I'm asking.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Very professional.
I'm running because county council oversees the budget enforced by the county exec Chris Ronayne in oversight, and I have a direct affiliate to that in my life with my youngest son Michael having autism. I work with county council and the board of developmental disabilities, and county council, really the majority of their budget is health and human services and oversight of that. And I mean, that speaks volumes to who I am. You guys know all the toy drives, food drives, coat drives, all the things that I have, even more recently with the funding that the nonprofit that I founded got from the county. So that lets you know I understand the legislative process of what's happening on the county level. And I just really want to be at the table that's overseeing what's happening in our community, in District 11, in the population, and how it's affecting us all. Social economics is a big deal for me. That's one of the reasons why I got the funding from the county to provide, CPR and first aid on a sliding scale, and then the BLS healthcare CPR, so that mothers can become home health aides and STNAs and get rid of that financial barrier. So this is just doing that on a bigger level with, I think county council has 11 committees, and just seeing what's going on and how it affects the day-to-day lives of our residents here in Cuyahoga County, and especially those in District 11 where I live.
So, Miss Lexis, I've been talking all day. You got a question for this lady over here?
Yes. Yes. No, and I'm so happy you're here. When you said you was coming back, I was so happy.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So yes. Okay. So this is what I want to know, because I know we're going to ask you so many political questions.
I'm a person, not a politician, and that's one of the reasons why I think I should be run for this seat.
So I want to ask you something a little, on topic, but not so serious.
Okay.
Loosen you up a little bit.
Okay.
So bloopers. This gonna be verbal bloopers because it's not recorded, but what's some things that went wrong on the light end that you can now look back and laugh at since you started up the campaign, would you say?
Say that again. What did I do on the light end? What did you?
So is there anything that happened that's funny or comical, or anything that happened inconvenient, any mistakes you made, or just anything that happened that you would like to share with us in the process of you starting the campaign and just going through all the steps to get out there and run and do everything you needed to do?
No. I've been on executive committee for the Democratic board. The Democratic Party, sorry, I'm thinking of Board of Developmental Disabilities, for 4 years now. I've volunteered on a lot of campaigns. You remember I volunteered on Justice Stewart's campaign.
Right.
I've always been very, very active in the Democratic Party. I'm actually on the host committee for the Cuyahoga Democratic Women's Caucus when Amy Acton will be here on Thursday the 29th. So this really isn't so far left or right for me for what I already do. As far as engaging the community, now I can have, when I win, God willing, right? When I win, I'll have the oversight to see how the funds, the government funds, are being spent and how it could help or hurt the residents.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So it seems like you're way focused, full throttle.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, everyone who knows me knows I'm a workaholic, and when I want something, I get it, and I really try to put my best foot forward. That's why I'm able to help so many people possible. So with this position, I will be able to continue the help that I'm doing, but also be almost like a watchdog in a sense for the residents and the constituents of District 11, to make sure that they know where their funds are going, their tax dollars are going.
All right. Speaking of the residents of District 11, what municipalities would you represent when you win, Ebony?
Thank you. I like me say when I win. So I'm gonna give you my full stump speech so you can hear how all the cities, I touch each municipality in District 11. We'll start off with one. I am a homeowner in Highland Heights.
Okay.
I am a graduate of Brush High School, so that's South Euclid, Lyndhurst. My son goes to Julie Billiard in Lyndhurst. I'm a small business owner. The nonprofit is based in South Euclid.
Okay.
My son attends his therapy services in Beechwood.
Okay.
I do all my shopping in Richmond Heights at the Dave's Market because it's unionized. It's right there. It's literally a couple streets over from me. And then I go to church in Euclid.
Okay.
Providence Baptist. So I'll give it to you. The rundown. It's Beechwood, Highland Heights, South Euclid, Lyndhurst, Richmond Heights, and Euclid.
So
Okay.
you'll be working with all those particular mayors and city council people as far as county council as
Yes.
well. Okay.
Yeah.
So shout out to that. And by the way, speaking of Richmond Heights, shout out to Kim Thomas being sworn in as the mayor of Richmond Heights. So shout out to her.
Yes, congratulations to Mayor Kim
Congratulations.
Thomas.
All right, so why you have we already know that your uncle Blaine Griffin is city council president. When you decided to run, what was the first thoughts about Uncle Blaine's mind when you said it? And shout out to him for throwing something on Nelson. I couldn't make it, but shout out to everybody that was there. So what did Blaine?
Stop looking at the TV.
So what did Blaine say to you?
Hold
Uncle
on,
Blaine.
I gotta do the voice. Hey, baby girl.
You go. Go ahead. Do you cracking yourself up doing Blaine's
Hey,
voice?
baby girl, you know I'm gonna help you with this. I'm gonna look, I think you're doing great. You know what to do. I'm gonna write you your first check. You know, you do great work.
All right. So you already have an endorsement from Blaine. So
Yeah.
what about the previous Cuyahoga County Councilwoman, Sunny Simon, who's also running for Domestic Relations Court? Did you get her endorsement as well, or
So since she's running for a judicial race,
judicial race?
she cannot endorse me because she's in her own race.
Right.
But she did tell me I was her first phone call when she decided not to run for
Really?
re-election. Yes.
Okay, so, and the thing about it is, like, there's a lot of nooks and crannies and mixtures, parts, and things of that nature by running in this race. Why should people vote for you in this race? Why?
For me,
Yes,
because
you.
again, yes, me. I touch every part of District 11 weekly, right? And I'm the only candidate that has school-age children, and someone that is affected with health and human services on the county level, or on a daily basis. That's why I fit this role. My past experience with community work and community engagement and the nonprofit work I do, and my past experience in the military as a personnel specialist doing budgeting and oversight and governance and resolutions. That's why I know I'm the right candidate for the position.
Okay. Go ahead, Lex.
So once you're elected to be candidate, how long do you think that it will take for you to be in the seat continuously for all of your great plans and deeds to actually affect the area of District 11?
So, I'd have to get my feet wet and really learn the oversight of the governance and the ordinance and the resolutions, which I've been looking up now and familiarizing myself. County council isn't day to day. They oversee with committees and appointments and capital budget. Did I answer your question? I just want to make sure I got it.
Yeah, no, you're doing great.
Okay.
You're doing great.
But just making sure that we're taking care of all the constituents on a level and hearing what they say at public comment and making sure that we're holding everybody accountable. But you really won't get a good feel until someone's in there for the year or two, and the metrics, because if the district hasn't improved in some capacity, in some way, some shape, some form, where you're getting metrics of how you've helped people, then that's what shows you right then. The metrics of how many people's lives you improved by the oversight of this budget.
All right. So, speaking of budgets, we have the county jail, we have Metro Health. How will you oversee these large contracts when you're elected to Cuyahoga County Council? As far as where pretty much everybody wants to know how much is going where and where the money is going and what's more important.
Well, budgets are like moral documents, right? They show you what is and what isn't, right? But they're also math. County council must prioritize the essential services while using sustainability, right? My approach is to ask, what outcomes are we funding? How are we measuring success? And are we protecting core services like health and human services while being fiscally responsible? Human health and services makes up the majority of the budget, like I said. And like I said, I understand that personally with my son, with Michael, I've been dealing with the Board of Developmental Disabilities, either in the Veterans Commission that's also funded with the county. So I know the ins and outs of it on a personal level, and that's how I would go about the oversight of it. I am nervous this time. I'm usually on your show very relaxed.
Well,
I know. No, like, that's why I asked the first question, because I know the first time you were just so like hilarious. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Because of the simple fact of the matter is now you are running for the seat that instead of
We call that the hot seat. Tell
Yeah,
them, Larry,
pretty-
that's the hot
that's the
seat.
hot
She
seat.
think it's sweet over here.
Right.
It's not sweet. No, I do the work already. I just want to ensure that District 11, the work is being done and there's proper oversight on the county level. Because, a lot of, especially District 11 being those outer ring suburbs.
Right.
A lot of people forget about the outer ring suburbs and their focus is on Cleveland, which is fine, but we still have these working class families that still needs assistance and navigation and help. Just because someone's in an outer ring suburb in District 11 doesn't mean they don't have the day-to-day struggle. Everyone in America, I feel like, is one paycheck away from being
out on the street.
Yes,
Out in
I
that-
heard someone say yesterday, and I think it was actually Diane Russell. She's running for judge. She said, and I think this is part of her stump speech, so I don't want to take it, but she said she had just enough money to starve to death, and that was powerful for me because that a lot of people feel that way. You have just enough to starve to death.
Right. Well, the warming centers, speaking of starved to death, the warming centers are still open. A lot of people are complaining about they should be open 24 hours. You have to have the staff, especially now, but you really can't get anywhere. I mean, the thing about it is it was a struggle to get here, to do the shows that we were doing, but we had to inform the public. But also, people are complaining about, I can complain about my heat being off all day, but they're going to take care of it. But what about the person that has no heat, that has the cover, that is in this snow, that is out there walking? So we understand that. What doesn't get covered that, besides the headlines, what do you think doesn't get covered that should be covered by Cuyahoga County Council, Ebony? What?
Well, everything is covered at public statements and then at the committees. But what I think should be highlighted more publicly, like in the news, is the workforce access, right? I was just watching a committee about education and sustainability earlier today about the metrics. It was a grant to increase workforce access, and that, like I said, when the county gave me the funding for the nonprofit, the 25, to do background checks and CPR and BLS healthcare, that is really a hindrance for a lot of people. A lot of people can't afford a $75 background check, or they can't afford $75 for a CPR class that can get them to the next step for the next position of the job, so that they can finally depend on themselves and work. It's hard. Those barriers, those financial barriers are there. So those are one of the things that you have to look for. Like, you want people to go to school. Okay, what's the requirement to go to this nursing school? What's the requirement for them to be a home health day? Look at that. How do we make a cookie cutter and start with step one at the most basic level possible to boost the economy?
Most people can't even afford the cookie cutter, unfortunately. So we
have to fix that. We have to fix that. That's what I'm doing with the nonprofit. But this way, on the county level, I can oversee where the funding is going and how is it spent to make these municipalities be able to stand on their own accord.
So the thing about it is, that's what you want to do. So how would this interfere? Like, you've been an activist for a while. So, but pretty much at the end of your first term, how should residents judge you if you were successful? What improvements would you bring to Cuyahoga County Council?
Like I said, it would all be contingent on those metrics from when I started to year 2. It depends on the committee that I'm on. It depends on what oversight I have. And then I could, I'm not there yet. So I can see where I need to start and how the metrics could be measured based off of what committee I'm on and how things are when I start versus in the middle of a term.
So once you got your signatures, how many signatures did you need to be on the ballot?
I think the minimum was like 50.
Mm-hmm. So,
I think I do know I was the first candidate valid and to turn in my petition for my signatures.
And you also going to be in the primary on May, correct? Just like State Rep Sinenberg.
Yes, yes. Well, we have the endorsement meeting on February 7th with the
Right.
Democratic Executive Committee. So that's what all the candidates, all 4 of us right now, we're trying to court the Executive Committee to show them our skills. I know I sent out a long text message today to the Executive Committee like, hey, I just want to remind you that I am a great person.
So being outgoing,
like, let me show you my resume.
being outgoing and outspoken. So how long did it take you to decide, hey, I'm going to run for this seat? Was it a 24, was it a quick impulse, I'm going to do it? Or was it like, I got to talk to some people before I even think about throwing my hat into politics?
Well, I've actually paid attention to county council for some years, and Councilwoman Sunny Simon, like I said, she told me I was her first phone call when she decided not to run for re-election. So it was never off the table for me. Mm-hmm. I know the other candidates just saw an open seat, but for the past 4 years, because I've been dealing with, the county on so many different levels and so many different services, that it was never out of reach. It was never something that I, was like, oh no, I would never do that. The seat opened, and I know that I have the credentials and the grit and the gumption to fulfill it, and it's going to be big shoes to fill, right? Sunny Simon was the only, I think she's the only attorney on county council, right? Mm-hmm. So these are big shoes I'm filling. And it didn't take me long. She called me at 9 p.m. I sat there for 20 minutes, and I was like, I'm doing this.
Okay.
Because if I don't do it, right, there's going to be, in my mind, there's going to be someone who just wants to work in the public sector and not be a public servant. And there is a difference, right? Mm-hmm. You have people who get elected, they take a seat, then they quit. They'll take a city job to take a higher paying position, or they'll go from one elected capacity to another elected capacity to another elected capacity. And we don't need that anymore. We need real people being watchdogs for oversight. We need public servants, not someone who just wants to work in the public sector.
We need public service, not public workers that act like public service. Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what, you has been exposing those for a while. Right, like when you're elected, the shoe gonna be on the other foot. How you feel about that?
Do the work.
So you're
do
not,
the work.
You're not
do
gonna,
the work.
You're
do
not
the
gonna
work.
be scared of the criticism.
You know what? Everyone, you're gonna get criticism no matter what. Like someone just texted me just now and asked me why do I have a Scully on, and I'm like, it's cold outside. It's freezing. I don't want to get a head cold. But everyone's gonna have, and no shade to the person that just texted me that, but everyone's gonna have something to say. Mm-hmm. Your work has to speak for it, right? You've seen, and all right, so you can look at the candidates in my race, right? Not to shame my candidates, but you guys know me.
Right.
You've known the work. I actually called an executive committee person last night, and he was like, Ebony, you've been around. You're not like these other candidates that's just calling me for an endorsement. We've seen you do the work. Everyone knows about MOVE, Mama's Organizing Voter Economics. We got over 100 moms registered to vote, teaching them about the voter process. I've my first toy drive, that's when Chantel was running for office and she came out.
Right.
So this isn't so out of the norm for me.
So I have a question about that. Mm-hmm. So how will you utilize your position to enhance the nonprofit organizations you already have? And will you be implementing anything to kind of encourage other individuals to start nonprofit companies, or maybe educate them as well?
So my board, thank God I have an amazing board, and they're all very, very supportive. They're all moms, by the way. They will be taking over the nonprofit capacity for this right now. So, shout out to Nikki, shout out to Danielle, shout out to Jessica, shout out to Jordan. Yeah, we have our own. They have their they handle it all. But the oversight portion of county council, I want to go out and meet who the constituents are in District 11 that I'm serving, and see where the funding is going. Right. So that's how you do. You those check-ins. Seeing each municipality, having those meetings, seeing what they need, finding out what the people and the mayors of each municipality need.
So pretty much, you will have to. So you would have the move stuff going on that is already there.
Yeah.
So you also when you win, you would also have to pick your staff to help you run the place while you have making run District 11, not help you run it, like secretaries and stuff like that. So do you have your
county
staff
council has their own staff, like they
all have their own staff.
They
don't have their own staff.
They don't have their.
You don't have. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but how does it feel now? Getting these signatures and saying, "Hey, I'm going to run for this." There's going to be a lot of criticisms, and especially since you're a mom, and one of your sons has autism, and there's been a lot of personal attacks in politics. So, how will you handle those?
I'm fine. If I can make it through boot camp, right? Only 3% of America goes through boot camp and passes, right, and becomes active duty military. I think I can handle words.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, being a mom made me tougher. Being an autism mom made me tougher because I have to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And when you have that type of mentality of get it done, I am really everyone says I'm on the cusp of I'm more like a Gen X, because I will get it done. I could be bleeding, sweating, crying. Yeah. I got all my signatures. I went to each municipality, and I didn't just go to the dim clubs. I was knocking on doors. It was cold, and it was right before school shut down. Just get it done. Do the work.
So speaking of, you are part of the United States Navy, correct?
Yes.
And that's why you're wearing that hat.
And it's warm.
And it's warm. So you handled large billion-dollar equipment as a Navy officer, correct?
I was not an officer. I was enlisted. But yeah, I was. I did administrative work. Yes.
But you handled a lot of stuff as a naval person in the Navy, correct?
Yeah.
How you transfer that over to Cuyahoga County Council?
So with that, I was overseeing budgets and pay. And it was really a governance oversight of making sure that, hey, we got to make sure these 400 sailors get paid, or these 400,000 sailors get paid. Those kind of scenarios. I also had a security clearance, so there's only so much I can say about everything that I did.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that administrative work transferred over, right? And let's not forget, I also did go to school. I did go to college, and have a degree in psychology and business, right?
Where did you go to college at?
National University. It's in La Jolla, California.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, besides your uncle being the city council,
I don't like to lead with that, especially during this candidacy.
But wait a minute. But you also worked in government and been with government as far as dealing with the Navy. So
yeah.
So you already know, I need this type of security clearance, or I need this type of security clearance. So you pretty much.
And then a continuation of that with with legislative work, the county council with the ARPA funding, they weren't just giving that money out because you just applied, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had to know and have a plan and what you were going to do with those funds and how that boosts the social economic development of the county. And I can say that I am the only candidate that has secured funding from the county, so I can tell you how the system works.
Right.
Right.
So that would be important. So pretty much you were made for this position in some way, right? in your heart?
Yes. I mean, I'm not one of those, I'm an advocate and I care about people. I'm not one of those people that just run for office because I see a seat open or, take a position here and then stop or take a position there. It has to be meaningful for me and it has to help people.
All right, that's what's up. We gonna go to break because I already amazed at. And the thing about it is, I'm gonna say this. I had a feeling that you was gonna run for something. It just had to be the right position because you talk a lot every time you hear. So it's like you gonna run or you gonna run for something. I just don't know what.
I just like people to be informed and know what's right and what's available and how to take care of themselves.
Hey.
All right, stop lying to me. Just lie to yourself. All right, so
I'm not a regular politician. I'm a real person.
All right, that's what's up. So the rest in one of my favorite songs listening to this cold winter night. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston. I'm your baby tonight. We'll be back on the headline Eye on Nerve. DJs, when you're on your nerves, we'll be right back.
This is WNRV 108.1.
I just can't explain. Well, you got a way that you're making me feel I can do anything for you, baby. I'll be done for you, baby. Lay all my cards out tonight. Just call on me, baby. I'll be there in a hurry. It's your move, so baby. Baby, decide whatever you want from me. I'm giving you everything. I'm your baby tonight. You're giving me ecstasy. You're my fantasy. I'm your baby tonight. From the second you touched me, I was ready to die. I've never been fatal. You're my first time. I feel like an angel who just started to fly. Well, you got a way that you're making me feel I can do anything for you, baby. I will fight for you, baby. Hold on and enjoy the ride. I'm not in no hurry. We can fly all night, baby. It's your move now, baby. Baby, let's fly. Whatever you want from me, giving you everything. I'm your baby tonight. I'm your baby. You got me ecstasy.
WNRV 108.1.
Looking for the perfect workspace? Office Lawson Solon has you covered. Whether you need a private office, co-working membership, or a virtual business address. We've got flexible options to fit your needs. Check out our 2 spring promos. Enjoy free co-working Fridays and no deposit on private office rentals. We also offer month-to-month leasing for your ultimate flexibility. Visit office-lost.com or call 216-230-9258 to lock in your space now. Office Lost, where productivity meets flexibility.
See you soon.
This is WNRV 108.1.
It's your girl, Lisa Dollar, and I'm locked in with the headline eye on WNRV 108.1.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Cleveland needs, wants, and has been waiting for.
Johnny Mac and DJ Ellery present The Experience, Cleveland's first annual R&B Hip Hop Gala, Saturday, February 7th, 2026 at the OR Venue Clee, 4700 Lakeside Avenue. Red carpet photo shoot at 7 p.m. Event ends at 1 a.m. 30 and over. Formal attire is mandatory. Tickets $40 for singles, $75 for couples. Early ticket purchase is strongly suggested. Tickets also available at the following ticket outlets: Diamond Cuts Barbershop, 5139 Superior Ave, Fashions by Fowler, 13226 Shaker Square, Mr. Albert's Men's World, 618 Prospect Ave. Call DJ Ellery at 216-254-5909 or Shawnee Mac at 216-235-4296 for more information. Check it out, Cleveland. We changing the game with this formal wear event. Early ticket exclusive table purchase is mandatory and strongly suggested.
This is WNRV 108.1.
All right, so we're back on the headline eye on Nerve DJs, WNRV108.1.com. We're going to get nerve. We have this nerve real love. Yeah. So, speaking of love, I'm going to bring this up one time and one time only. The thing about it is like, there was an issue with comedian Tracy Morgan and a homeless guy that he knew. I guess it was somewhere outside, and somebody and Tracy Morgan said that, I remember you back in the day. I guess the dude who was homeless now wasn't nice to him back in the day. He remembered that, and it triggered something in him. And the dude said, well, I'm homeless, boy. You know, and the thing about it is like, I don't know how I know they're from New York or whatever, but I don't know how they talk to each other like that. But my thing is this. If you asking somebody for help, you come with some type of humility. And if you don't come with that humility, you're not going to get the help. There's two ways you could have he could have did that. He could have been like, yo, Trey, I remember me from back in the day. I know that I'm big with you or whatever have you, yada, yada, yada. I ain't look out for you like I should. I apologize, brother. I was wondering if you can help a brother out with, you know, some money or whatever. Now, if Tracy would have said no, then everybody would have been like, oh, he wrong for that. He could have said, like, he came like, but the dude came with some kind of arrogance and like when you call somebody a boy, that's all the automatic. Nah, I'm on Tracy Morgan's side with that. There's certain ways I'll help you, but there's certain ways you have to ask. You have to, like, I'm not saying kiss my behind, but I'm saying, look, come with some type of humility. There's a way to do it instead of being like, oh, I'm like, and you know, Tracy said that's not my problem, and people are criticizing him for it. But some of you that criticize Tracy wouldn't give the $1 to the boy that's selling water in the street. So I want to hear that mess. But you know, I just wanted to bring that up. But back to Miss Ebony Spano, who's running for Cuyahoga County Council, District 11. There's been a lot of stuff going on nationally, especially in Minnesota, about ICE raids and things of that nature. Do you have an opinion on that?
I think it's disgusting. I think it's horrific. I think it's, as a mother, that 5-year-old baby, as a mother. And when you talk about human decency and human rights and the way they're treating people and babies,
right?
Babies. Like, you know, we have children. All three of us have children.
Right.
Babies. You know what I mean? Like, you know, your baby will never not be your baby, right? Like,
right.
Sean's 5'5" and taller than me right now, but he's still my baby, you know? And that's the approach we need to take as American people. Like, those are babies.
Right.
You know, these are people. These are human beings.
I think there's a lack of empathy all around. You having an opinion, Lexus, about what's been going on? Not just in Minnesota. We had, you know, and there's been other people that's been killed by ICE agents this past year under this disgusting administration. You want to say something about that?
Yes. The destruction of the human population is always and has always been a hidden agenda amongst the higher up department, so to speak. So we have to be safe, we have to be guarded, we have to be intuitive, and we have to stay alert so that we do not put ourselves in a sticky situation. Because once you're in that situation and, you know, something happens, you know, it can be argued, and then now people are protesting and everything's going on, but yet that life does not seem to come back, you know. So we definitely want to be precautious before anything happens.
Right, exactly. I want to make sure that everybody know, when I talked about this, when I was interviewing State Rep Eric Sennenberg, that I said that, you know, that this monster of a president, and y'all know who I'm talking about, would try to use the uprising about the protests to stop midterm elections, and that's something we don't want, because if you get enough Democrats in those particular seats, then you can remove this orange predator from office. So, and I say that, like I said, I'm being nice because Ebony's here, but y'all know how I feel. Speaking of votes, why should people vote for Ebony Spano for this seat? Why should people vote for you, Ebony? Why?
Because I have the background, I have the experience, and I am the people. Like, I'm always fighting for our people. I'm always fighting for the community, working class families, lower income families, you know, the single mom, the single dad, the married couple that's still trying to figure it out, right? I've always done this work. I've always been a watchdog. I've always called out people for doing not the right thing, right? And then this is my chance to do the oversight of saying, hey, we can use this funds over here to help this working community. We can use these funds for this. And to have a voice at the table, like I said, of a mom with a child that has autism that has to deal with the county and Health and Human Services, which is the majority of the county budget. Like, that's what we need, you know? When you look at county council currently, right? We need one of those school age moms up there. We need someone with the educational background, but also the lived experience, right?
Yeah.
You know, you have some lived experience, not so much to the point that you're out of touch, where you know, some people get in positions and they stay in these positions and they're out of reach with the people. I never want to be out of reach with the people, and that's why county council is a great fit for me, because it's oversight. County Executive Chris Ronayne does the day-to-day operations, and county council's job is to make sure, hey, that's checking out for the people of the district.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
and I know how to represent people, because I already do. I'm already fighting for people. Now this is more focused and hyper focused on a district with municipalities, and each municipality has different needs. And since I do touch each municipality at least once a week, I can see the needs and how they're affected, and, you know, the progress of what happens.
So pretty
That's a great answer.
So pretty much, you've been doing the work. You were in the trenches, and this is just another step up. When you get elected, it's another step up for you to help more people, correct?
And it sounds like you actually have a structured plan. You know what I mean? Anybody can just start saying some random stuff that comes to their head, but it sounds like you're trying to measure it based off of what's going on and the insight on the budget and what needs to be done. You know, you're not just saying something random like, we're going to fix the park, or, you know, I can respect that, because you're giving us a vision board and not just saying random stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And whoever wins, I'm hoping that is me, you hold that person accountable in 2 years. What has changed since you've been in office? What metrics, you know, where's everything been going? Tell me what you've been doing. What have you learned, right? I think we need to ask all public officials that. What have you learned in your position since we elected you?
We pretty much hold them accountable.
Yes, yes. And I want people to hold me accountable. I am not a throw a stone, hide my hand kind of person. I am very big on, my best friend will tell you this. I like I'll tell him, give it to me rough. Like, tell me the truth. Like, don't sugarcoat it for me. Don't do anything, because that's how I make myself better. That's how I get myself stronger. I don't need a bunch of yes people around me. I need the person that, like, is going to tell me, hey, you're wrong. You need to do, you know, this is how this is affecting people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've always done. And I would hope that people did that to me.
Right, so pretty much you're telling people, hey, hold me accountable. Hold me to this standard. Don't hold back.
Exactly. 100%. Because I'm always going to hold whoever's in that seat accountable. Mm-hmm. Whether it be myself, you know, it's going to be myself, but we need to always hold these public officials accountable. You know, I always ask people, do you know who your state rep is? Do you know who your state senator is? Do you know who your precinct person is? Your executive committee person, right? Like, do you know who all these people are? Do you know how the bodies of government works? Most people don't even know what county council does.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know the 3 branches of government.
Like, not even federal, the federal 3 branches.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, all they know is the stimulus check.
Ain't nobody getting those. I'm telling y'all right now. That y'all just paying them tariffs. It's like, I see, like, wait a minute, why is this higher than the tariffs? Oh damn. I'm like, everybody think I got the $7,000 Trump check. Doge check gonna come. I got one word for you. Never, with a capital NEVER. Dang. Get it through your heads. It's not coming. Don't look for it. You better hope these tax breaks kick in. By the way, the federal government is threatening to shut down if ICE doesn't get any more funding. So look out for that. And the reason why that Minnesota was attacked, they said we will remove ICE if you give Trump over those, if Trump gets those voting files, because Minnesota is a Democratic state. just the FYI to let y'all know. However, and pretty much you had the nonprofit for voting. How effective is voting, especially in the communities right now? How do you feel about voting? Because you got a nonprofit for it. So how do you feel about voting?
Well, the nonprofit isn't for voting, but one of the arms of
Right,
the
the arms
nonprofit
of it.
is MOVE, Mama's
Yeah.
Organizing Voter Economics. And the whole purpose of MOVE is to really educate moms on the voting process of how who you vote for affects that carton of milk. It affects how much those eggs cost. Right?
How much that cheese is.
Exactly.
Not
Even
the
to
carton of milk.
Even to the local, because my kids only drink like the organic milk, so I'm like, that's crazy because I need the DHA, because the food is horrible, so I need to make sure they're getting all their omega-3s.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, in the past 3 years, that half a carton of milk of Horizon Organic with the DHA, the 2%, went from like $4 to $6.83. I know I just bought a half a carton a day, and I have a growing 12-year-old that eats a box of cereal a day, even though I can cook dinner, and he'll be like, I want some cereal for dessert. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. What is your specialty that you love making?
my specialty that I'm really good at making is spaghetti.
I love spaghetti. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you said that. I love spaghetti.
And the reason being is because, like, if you can't make spaghetti, like, spaghetti can save your life, right?
It's broke people food.
Exactly. You get a packet of ground beef, right? You don't even, if you really broke, you don't have the spaghetti sauce. You get the can of tomato sauce and you season it.
Or just get some tomatoes.
Hey, there you go. I'm not doing that. I'm not going that far.
Grandma scratch.
Y'all ain't been that broke. You got to just use tomatoes. Y'all talk about tomato sauce.
And that's a part of running for county council, right? Because that is a part of Health and Human Services. If you're not getting proper nutrition, not getting proper food, don't know what's available, mental health, all of those things are part of Health and Human Services. We have to make sure that we're providing people with the basic needs in life. And that's what county council does. They're overseeing that the budget of the county is providing the needs of each municipality that the council person for that district serves.
Mm-hmm. And not only you are running for a seat, but of course, Chris Ronay, county executive, is running for re-election, and you have a couple of seats open. People that are running,
There's only one seat that's going to be open, but I think Councilman Sweeney has a couple of opponents.
Right.
Yeah.
So. And Councilwoman Turner also is running for her re-election.
Yeah, she's unopposed, isn't she? Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
But we don't know who would try to sneak in, period.
Oh, yeah, those blind petitions.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
So, speaking of petitions and opponents, you did something that I have not seen any opponent do. You took a picture with two of your opponents in the race. What made you do that?
Because I'm a leader. You know what I mean? Like I'm a realist. I know how this political atmosphere works, right? I want to get to know these people. These are candidates and I want to win, but God forbid I don't win. These are one of those candidates will be your next county council person. And people need to know who they are, or even the people that are considered to run for the race. I'm a leader, and I want to show solidarity. Actually, it's so crazy because Chris Ronayne had an event in Euclid for the Euclid Dems and the constituents of Euclid, and I sat next to the opponent. And he said, "I've never seen that." Two opponents sitting next to each other. I was like, "Oh yeah, this isn't a blood sport,
Yeah."
Because I want them to hold me accountable when I win. Like if, something crazy happened like they won, I'm going to hold them accountable.
So, but that in politics, sometimes it gets to a blood sport. And you've seen it.
Yeah.
You've been there. Come on now.
I've never been there. I've seen it.
You worked on campaigns where it became a political blood sport. That's the person that you were. Like, look at you worked with Justice Stewart.
I will give you an example.
Go ahead.
One of the candidates the other day, I was at a judicial forum in Beechwood, and I was talking to a constituent about my military experience, and one of the candidates was like, how long ago was that? And I don't know if that was supposed to be like, ambiguous shade or,
What?
It probably was a shot at your age. That's probably it, because it's like you're a younger, more progressive. You're an African American woman, younger, progressive candidate, and you still have school age children, where some of these people may or may not. It all depends on.
I do know for a fact I'm the only candidate with school age children.
Okay, yeah. So that's
I don't
number
know,
one.
Some people don't know how to get their point across without badging other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But how did you take that? Did you take it as a slight, or you just took it as
water off a duck's back? Because as long as I'm doing the work, and I know I am, I like to splash. Nothing matters. I have the experience. I don't care how long ago I was in the military. I still got it under my belt.
There are people who've never been to the military ever and never will.
Only 3% of the country has. So
right.
That's what it is. But I get it. This is a competition. But for me, this is about people's lives, and I'm directly affected. And I'm treating county council like I would treat my own household, giving it my all. And that is one thing that I have always been complimented on. I even received the Family Advocate Award from Milestones 2 years ago. I've always been very vocal about how I care for children, how I care about children, how my kids saved my life, and how that I will fight and do everything I can for other people's children. And I know that I've shown that with the work that I've done over the years.
So pretty much, and of course, everybody talks about policy. Can you write your own policy? But you wrote your own nonprofits, correct? Or you wrote your own grants? You have other people.
Yes.
That's pretty much about the size of fighting for
Chat GPT
policy. But
when I started my nonprofit, when all the work and everything that I've done over the years, Chat GPT was non-existent. I was just telling my niece, she's like, yeah, I got ChatGPT helping me study because my teacher has this flag thing and it could flag the paper. So now I use ChatGPT to help me study. And I'm like, I had freaking Spark Notes, okay? I had to write those papers.
Yeah, highlight and all of that.
Citations. I remember that is something that was big when when I first entered college, and those, the citations that I learned in high school, I was just like, deduct the 10 points. I don't.
So, what is it? So the thing about it is, how can people contribute to your campaign and donate to that, stuff like that, or volunteer and work with you, as far as your campaign is going? Because you're gonna need folk.
Yeah, I am. I have so much. I'm so thankful. Even for my petitions, I had people, calling around like, hey, they're a registered voter. My high school English teacher, Mrs. Falkenberg, she was amazing. She actually got signatures for me. And a good high school friend of mine, Ashley, she got signatures for me as well. So, I have people right now really helping me and backing me. And my Uncle Blaine, he actually called me last night. He will be writing me my first check. A lot of people have been wanting to write me checks, and I had to figure out the treasurer situation and open up a bank account. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm an open book. Channel 3 posted my phone number when I did Babies and Brunch, and I put my real phone number on the flyer. So, the whole...
Anybody call you?
I feel all the 100 and something kids we fed. Yeah, they called me. So, you can find me on Facebook, Ebony Spano. Ebony spelled just like the magazine. E is in Echo, B is in Bravo, O is in Oscar, N is in November, Y is in Yankee, Spano, S is in Sierra, P is in Papa, A is in Alpha, N is in November, O is in Oscar.
Yeah, she the police.
No, but that Navy training, comes in, Echo, November, all that. But so you want to give your phone number again so somebody
sure. You guys can call me, text me. I prefer text. You have to be in District 11 for me to respond. That is my, I've done so much work in our area and in the county that I get so many phone calls from so many different families and so many different places that I have to tell them like, okay, right now I have to hyper focus. Thank God for Jordan on my board. She's also my operations specialist. She's gonna tackle that one when she's in the office, the other families, so I can really focus on District 11 and the oversight of county council and the committees and the budgeting.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the number?
What is the number?
Yes, yours.
Oh, my number. Oh, sorry. 440-409-4825.
You want to repeat that again?
Again, the number is 440-409-4825.
You have an email?
I'm not giving out my email.
You're not giving out your email.
I get so many emails.
I'm talking
a day.
about for the campaign.
I don't have. We're getting there. Just follow me on Facebook, DM me. Actually, I just had a constituent in Euclid message me yesterday, and was like, "Where's your, your campaign page?" I'm like, "It's coming. It's coming. Everything will be up and running by the middle of this week. Website, campaign page, Facebook page, bank account." I know so many people wants to give me checks, and I'm just like, give me time. These kids haven't been in school.
Right, because of the snow and everything.
The snow, and then my oldest son, he had an infected lymph node last week, so he missed last week. So Sean hasn't been to school in about 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, yikes.
Right, yeah, so.
And I still managed to go to each campaign event I could go to. My babysitter is getting rich, okay?
Right, shout out to your babysitter right now.
She's like, I want a new car. I'm like,
how old is your babysitter?
She is 16.
She about to retire off. You about to retire off.
My boys are so supportive. My boys, they're very smart, very intelligent, very focused. My youngest son, Michael, and the one that's on the spectrum, he's like, you gotta win. And then so when we were driving to get signatures through the cities and he saw a light out in Richmond, he's like, Mommy, fix that. And I'm like,
I don't have to see yet, son.
Start early.
Oh, yeah, like, Mommy, fix that. Get that fixed.
You're right there. Right
there. Like boys think Mommy can do everything, so they're like, get it done. So
well, my boys, I remember when Sean was in first grade, the first time I was on the news, his teacher, it was for Babies and Brunch. She wanted to donate some food and money, and Sean's like, Mommy, are you famous? And I'm like, no, I'm not famous. Well, my teacher says you're on the news. And I'm like, no. I just like to help people. And, my boys are growing up very different, in a very different environment than what I grew up in. Like Sean plays AAU baseball. They're always in sports. They, anything and everything, swim lessons, basketball, all of that good stuff. So for me, I always make sure that my boys come with me when I serve the community, because I always have to remind them, this is my money. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked really, really, really hard. Everything you have, all this nice stuff, this is really Mommy's. So I need
right.
Spoiled.
So like, for instance, Sean, I just got him these Nike boots, right? These, and he's in a size 12 men's shoe, right? And he's 12, okay?
Okay.
Sound like my son, Jalen.
He went to basketball, right?
Right.
And I'm like, Sean, why do you have on your basketball shoes? Where are your boots that I just bought you today? Oh, I left them. So, those boots are gone. We went back to the rec center in Mayfield. They were like, yeah, can't find them. So he was like, Mommy, just buy me some more.
Really? Yeah. Like, you know what? No.
But I have very good boys. They have chores. They're very disciplined. I can honestly say that I always said that, like, I didn't want, when I left that military base after having Sean at Fort Bliss, like, I didn't want to have that military kid lifestyle where they're bouncing from base to base and base and base. And I always felt like military kids were spoiled, right? And I'm like, they're still getting that residual of it. They're still getting a little bit of it that I didn't anticipate. But I have great boys. And, Michael has taken great strides with what I could find out from the Board of Developmental Disabilities. And then once I start digging deeper and finding out other resources, mind you, Michael is 10. Imagine if I would have known about these other resources 7 years ago when I was talking to the intake specialist at the Board of DD. Where, we have to do the oversight of, how are you determining what services are available to whom, and how are you notifying them of the services and getting back to people, right? That is very imperative. That's one of the reasons when this seat opened up, I asked for Health and Human Services Committee to call down the Board of Developmental Disabilities Superintendent Amber Gibbs to answer these questions about, and I think I talked about this last time I was on your show about the services that are issued and certain waivers. And not, I always peg this question that Seeds of Literacy said that 66% of Cleveland is the functioning illiterate, right? So they're talking about Cleveland proper, right? So not the surrounding suburbs. So we don't even have the data for that, right? But think about how many people travel back and forth between, so in District 11, you don't know how many families are not getting services because there's no data saying that if they're the functioning illiterate or not and what they have going on, because there's such a big misconception that the suburbs don't need money or the suburbs don't,
because you live in the suburbs.
Exactly. That is such, and me being an inner city kid, I had that misconception as well. Like, you have a mom, you have a dad in home, y'all live in the suburbs, y'all middle class life. Middle class families struggle. Very much so. Middle class families struggle. And so that's why we have to be informed, and we have to be prepared to take care of everyone.
Right. And with this administration, unfortunately, the middle class is damn near shrinking to the point where there is none. So those people who are working poor, they just trying to keep the suburbs because of the school system for their children. That's one of the reasons they moved there.
And when you think about that, right, conceptually, right, and that factors in Health and Human Services, right? Because I can tell you, I went to Brush, right? Brush was amazing. But I remember the days, my mom, we didn't have gas, right? And we had to boil water on the electric stove. And I went to this great, amazing high school, but we didn't have gas. And my mom was a single mother at the time. And, we could only do what we could do, right? I didn't get new school clothes every year at Beechwood Mall like some of my peers. I was at Goodwill. Yeah, I went to a great high school, right, that prepared me for, a better life. But there are people that are struggling. There's everywhere, like all the time, no matter where you live. There's always someone struggling.
So you can't. So just because you live in Richmond Heights, but you don't know how. I'm one step away closer from being homeless in Richmond Heights or homeless out in Bratton. I can go back to Cleveland, but the struggle is like there's people in Maple Heights, Garfield Heights that are struggling, which I know. So the thing about it is like you can't determine just because you live in a nice area that you don't have you may be struggling to live in that nice area. Period. So.
Everyone has a own personal struggle, and my passion in life is to make sure that people's struggles are less, because I know what it's like personally to struggle. I know what it's like to grow up and struggle and move to the suburbs and still struggle. Okay. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're here, everything's magical now. Right. And then even still, right, because Beechwood is a part of District 11, and people look at Beechwood as a very wealthy suburb, and they can't be forgotten, right? They still have needs, right? I pulled up the census, right? Beechwood and Highland Heights is number 2. I know Highland Heights still have needs. I'm a family in Highland Heights, and the family's needs. I know Euclid has their own individual needs. Richmond Heights, South Euclid, Lyndhurst, everyone has their individual needs. So it's not one size fits all when it comes to these municipalities. And that's why this seat, it has to be someone with not just legislative experience, but lived experience in different backgrounds and lifestyles.
Exactly. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, thank you for having me.
Thank
it's always
you.
a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Good luck to you guys, Speed, for running for this seat and bringing your bubbly personality to it as usual. So we got to get out of here because it's cold, and hopefully everything is heated up back at my place. Otherwise, I'm staying somewhere in somebody guest house. So I thank everybody for being out here listening to the Headline Eye on WNRV 108.1.com. Nerve DJs, thank Ebony, thank Eric. Vote. Period. That's why I'm doing these shows. By the way, you come up to me out talking crazy, you might get your ass whooped. But I believe, period. But we're going to go out here with one of my favorite songs, and rest in peace to everybody that was affected by the Minnesota tragedies and things of that nature.
Yes,
so
rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Annie Preddy and to Renee Good. So, and keep up the good fight. So we're going to go out with one of my favorite artists, Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, 1814. If nobody tells you that they love you today, I do. Peace, love, and hair grease. We out of here until next week. Yeah.
This is WNRV 108.1.
Together.